السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وبعد. Welcome again to النحو التطبيقي practical Arabic grammar. Today we continuing from where we left off. We are looking at ma'rifah, and the last time we realized we appreciated that ma'rifah is of 7 categories in Arabic. We have domir, we have alamun, we have اسم الإشارة, we have اسم الموصول, المعرف بال, المضاف إلى المعرفة, إلى معرفة, النكرة, النكرة المقصودة بالنداء. These are 7 categories of ma'arif. So in Arabic, we have 7 categories of ma'rifah, definite nouns or nouns that can be considered definite. So let's look at each of them separately. But before we do, the writer would like us to look at this مخطط, this diagram. أولا الضمير. This diagram المخطط is giving us, or the scheme is giving us, the overall picture of ضمير in Arabic. And when we say ضمير, this is what in English we call pronoun. Pronoun. So it's a noun. So it's like pronoun, something in relation to a noun. But in Arabic, when we say domir, your domir can be what is in your heart, or what you desire, or even your heart itself. It has so many meanings. But domir basically is something that hides something, or something that works in the state of something and let the other thing hide. Because when you say huwa, you are referring to a man. So by using huwa, you hide the rajul. So if you say huwa rajulun, and then you say huwa, then you help the rajul to hide. That's why we call it damir, according to some Arabic grammarians. But a damir in Lughat al-Arabiya kisman, there are 2 types. We have barizatu, and then we have mustatir. Bariza is manifest, and then hidden or concealed. So hidden pronouns, and then we have manifest pronouns. So we have damir al-bariza, and then we have damir mustatir. Damir al-bariz, damir that is barizon, huwa kisman, 2 types. And then mustatir, the hidden damir, also 2 types. That's very interesting. So that's what you have to know. So in Arabic, we have 2 forms of damir. We have damir bariz, and then we have mustatir. Istatara means to hide something. And the barizon means something that is manifest, is obvious, is in the open. You can see it. Now, damir mustatir is very easy. So let's look at them. Mustatir, we have mustatir wujuban. So this is what we call mandatory concealment. And then this is what we call optional or permissive concealment. Mandatory or permissive. Mandatory or permissive. So with mustatir wujuban, it means that damir must be hidden. You cannot reveal it. Right? It's like in Arabic when you say kul, say. So the question is, who is the damir? Is it damir mustatir? Taqdiruhu anta. Right? So this is basically, the sentence is like anta kul. Anta kul. But in Arabic, you are compelled. Right? It's mandatory for you to hide the anta. Don't say anta qul, but just say qul. So this anta is damir mustatir. And then there are some damir mustatir. You have the option to either hide them or to hide them. It's optional. It's jawaz. It's not mandatory for you to hide them, but it's permissive if you want. So you determine whether to let that damir out or you hide that damir. So damir mustatir ends there. And then we have damir muttasil wa munfasil, right? Then we have conjunctive pronoun. And then we have disjunctive or separable, if you will. Or disjunctive pronoun. So munfasil, the pronoun is always standing alone, or you can say standalone. Standalone pronouns. They cannot be connected, like huwa. Huwa rajulun. You can't connect the huwa and say huwa rajulun like this. No, you can't. Right? So damiru munfasil is basically like the normal English pronouns. They can't connect. Right? He is. Their book. So you can see damiru munfasil like all English pronouns. All English pronouns are munfasil. All English pronouns are munfasil. In English, we don't connect the pronouns, whether they are possessive pronouns or they are objective pronouns or subjective pronouns. They are written alone. A book, right? Her stands alone, book stands different. That is the munfasil. But in Arabic, a book, you're going to say kita buha. So you see that the ha is connected to the kitab. That's why we call it muttasil, right? Muttasil. But munfasil, in Arabic, when damir is munfasil, it's always written alone, or it stands alone all the time. But there are some damir muttasil that are sometimes compelled to be written alone, stand alone, because of the what? The nature of the vowel, the letter. Like if they are in front of wa, or ra, or tha, or da, or alif, or what's the other one? I think za. Because if you have fu here, or ha here, or kum here, or ka here, or ki here, you cannot. These are all damirat. These are all damir. You cannot connect them to these letters because of their nature. But still, we say these are damir muttasilat. They are conjunctive. They are conjunctive. They are connected, right? But munfasil is damir that are separatable. You can separate it. They are separable, if you will. So هو بحسب موقعه من الإعراب ثلاثة أقسام. So ضمير متصل based on its position in the إعراب is divided into also three types, right? So ضمير متصل is considered from the perspective of the إعراب. So we have الرفعي في محل الرفع المختص ضمير that has been designated or specifically designated for رفع. خمسة, there are 5 of them. And then المشترك, we have a group of ضمير, they are in between في محل النصب and then they are also في محل جر, and they are ثلاثة, they are three. And then المشترك بين محل الرفع والنصب والجر ضمير واحد. There is a ضمير that can be in the place of رفع, it can be in the nasb, it can be in the jar. It's just one. We're going to know all of them. And then we have وهو بحسب موقعه من الإعراب قسمان. If you come to ضمير منفصل, its position in the إعراب process, we have two kinds. المختص بمحل الرفع, we have a group or one that is specifically designed for محل الرفع. They are 12 ضميرا, right? There are 12 of them. And then al-mukhtas, the one specifically designed بمحل النصب ضميرا واحدا. It's one ضمير وصوره 12 صورة, but it has 12 forms. The ضمير is one, but it has 12 forms. It can come in 12 various forms. So this is a schema. This is a diagram, but we're going to go deep and then analyze all of these ضمائر. So let's look at ضمير. What is a ضمير? اسم وضع للمتكلم. It's a name that has been put in place for the speaker. And al-mutakallim in English, we say the first person, right? Wal-muqatabu. Muqatab is the second person. Or some books will say muqatabin wa muqatabah. Or muqatabatin. Second person, male, and second person, female. So muqatab is the person you are addressing, right? The person you are addressing, that is the addressee. The person you are addressing, that's the addressee. Well, أو غائب, the third person. Or somebody who is absent, right? So we have first person pronoun, that is the للمتكلم, and then we have second person pronouns, and that is for the مخاطب, and then the مخاطب we can have masculine and feminine. الغائب is a third person pronoun. So if you look at أنا أنت هو, أنا أنت هو, أنا I, first person pronoun, أنت you, second person, هو he. So in English we say this is a first person pronoun, and this is a second person pronoun, and then this is the third person pronoun. You're talking about somebody. So ضمير is اسم وضع للمتكلم أو مخاطب أو غائب. أنا أنت هو, right? أقسام الضمير, ينقسم الضمير إلى قسمين, بارز ومستتر. We've already discussed that. The ضمير can be بارز, it can be in the open, everybody can see it. It's a manifesting ضمير. And then مستتر is a ضمير that can hide. So let's look at what are the ضميرات or ضمير بارز or البارز. So remember بارز from the word بارزة, to be in the open or to appear. You are not hiding. الضمير البازر, الضمير البارز هو ما له صورة في اللبس. Right? ما له صورة. It has lips, it has surah, it has a form. It has a form. In lips, you can say in pronunciation or articulation. So you can pronounce it and then you can see it. It has a surah. For instance, ana, anta, ana, I, anta, you, masculine, singular, huwa, he, ta, ta. This ta is also damir, like in kumtu, I stood up. So where is the I? This ta. Well, kaf, like kalamuka, your pen. So this kaf is damir. Why is it bari? We can see it. Now remember, some of these damir are attachable, right? They are attachable. Or they are conjunctive, like ka. Kaf is conjunctive. Ta is conjunctive. Ha, kitabuhu. Ha is conjunctive. So you can see the ha, the kaf, and then the ta, they tend to be domair al-bariz al-muttasil. Bariz muttasil. Manifest conjunctive. Manifest attachable. It can be attached. But ana, anta, huwa, they are manifest منفصل. فكل ضمير نراه, every ضمير that we can see, very very important. فكل ضمير نراه, every ضمير that you can see. And then what again? ننطقه, we can articulate it. We can articulate it, or we can pronounce. يسمى is called ضميرا بارزا. It's called ضمير بارز. Manifesting ضمير or manifest ضمير. ضمير that appears, because نراه, face. That's the face, الرؤية, right? We can see it. And then the second, النقط, right? النقطة, we can articulate it. So if you can see a ضمير and then you can pronounce it, then we call it ضمير بارز. Because if the ضمير is مستتر, you don't see it and you cannot pronounce it. For instance, if I say, like I said, قل, there's a ضمير, hidden ضمير here. And the ضمير تقدير is what? أنت. But if I say كلي, there's another ضمير hidden here. That is أنت. So first, this ضمير here, we cannot see it, nor can we articulate it, because we can't pronounce it. We just say kul. We cannot say the ضمير, because it's ضمير مستتر. And then it's wajib for you to hide it, especially in فعل الأمر. In فعل الأمر, it's wajib for you to hide it. So فكل ضمير نراه وننطقه يسمى ضميرا بارزا. Any ضمير that we can see, we can articulate, or we can pronounce, تسمى is called ضميرا بارزا. It's called ضميرا بارزا. Very very important. ضميرا بارزا. So let's look at the تقسيم. Let's look at the تقسيم. ينقسم الضمير البارز. ضمير البارز divides into two. It can be divided. It's categorized into two categories. We have متصل, and then we have منفصل. متصل and منفصل. ضمير متصل هو ما لا يفتتح به الكلام ولا يقع بعد إلا. ضمير متصل is a form of ضمير that you cannot start a statement with, that it cannot come at the beginning of the statement, like huwa. You can say huwa rajulun. So this damir is not muttasil. Huwa is not muttasil. Why? Because it is starting a statement. But any damir ما لا يفتتح به الكلام ولا يقع بعد إلا. And then it cannot come after illa. You cannot say illahu. See, like, except him. But in Arabic, we say illa huwa. That is better. You can't say illahu. So therefore, this who is damir muttasil, because by appearing in front of illa, it doesn't make sense. But we say illa huwa. So what is the definition of damir al-muttasil? هو ما لا يفتتح به الكلام ولا يقع بعد إلا. Now, so therefore, what are we talking about? The writer is saying فهو يقع في آخر الكلمة. فهو يقع في آخر الكلمة. Very, very important. فهو يقع في آخر الكلمة دائما. So ضمير متصل is always found at the end of a kalima, or it's always appearing at the end of a kalima. متصلا بآمله, right? Connecting to the amil, the doer, right? Al-amil can be a factor. It's connecting to its factor. And what is the amil? Look at ta, for instance. Min katabtu. What is the amil? The amil is the what? Is the kataba, the factor. Wal kaf, akhrajaka. What is the amil? Akhraja. Waha, akramahu. What is the amil? Akrama, amil. Waya, what is the factor? Kitabi, the factor is, the amil is kitabi. Wal wa'u, qamu, this wa. Now don't confuse this alif, right? This alif is a differentiator. Already explained it. It's used to differentiate the fi'l al-mudari of da'a yad'u. Da'a yad'u. If you say da'a yad'u, the alif is not there. But anytime the alif waw al-jama'ah, we call it waw al-jama'ah, right? It's added to a verb, then we put alif in front of it to differentiate it from another wa, which often is seen in this kind of fi'l al-mu'tal akhar, sick verbs ending in alif mamduda. For instance, you say yad'u, yad'u. You don't put alif here. If you put alif there, then this wow is plural. Does it make sense? But if you write yad'u like this, then this wa is just there. It indicates what? Singular. He, yad'u. He invites or he calls. But if you say yad'u like this, then you are trying to say they, but Arabic people won't allow that. So that's why they have wa sometimes that stands alone and wa that has this alif in front of it. So this wa that has alif in front of it is wawul jama'ah. The one that has no alif in front of it is not wawul jama'ah. Does it make sense? So this wa is a qamu. So there's alif here. This alif, this wa is the wawul jama'ah. But this alif is a differentiator. Okay? Very, very important. So qamu, they stood up. They. So you see that in Arabic. This damir is here. So wa, this is wa al-jama'ah. And it's file. Ila aft means etc. So damir al-muttasil, it doesn't start a sentence. So wala yasih nahu. It's not appropriate. It's not grammatically correct. For instance, to say ma ra'aytu illaka. Ma ra'aytu illaka. You see the ka here. Rather than say ma ra'aytu illa anta. لأن الضمير متصل لا يصح وقوعه بعد إلا في سيئة الكلام. It doesn't appear right after إلا from the general perspective of grammarians. However, there are instances where it happens in poems in Arabic, right? And it happened in poems due to what we call poetic license or license. Poets are given the licenses sometimes to structure their lines in a way that it can rhyme. So even if they have to do that by breaking grammatical rule, they are allowed to do that because they are poets. If you are not a poet, then you don't have that license. We call it poetic license. So if you see at al-kalam, he's indicating a footnote where he explains that it's not generally the case. There are some instances. Let's look at the footnote. He said, ولا يسوي وقوع ضمير متصل بعد إلا في حال الضرورة. Right? إلا في حال الضرورة. Except in a situation of necessity. والضرورة خاصة. And this situation of necessity is reserved for شعر, for poems. فيجوز في الشعر للضرورة إلاك. He said it's permissive in a poem, when you're writing a poem, to say إلاك or إلاه. ولا يجوز هذا في سعة الكلام. This is not permitted in what the general Arabic, kalam or speech. أي في غير الشعر, when it is not in the poem. So if you are a poet, you have poetic license. You can mangle any language the way you want, as far as you do that to achieve specific poetic objectives, such as one of them being the rhyming. Now let's look at موقعه من الإعراب. How do you do the إعراب of ضمير متصل؟ ينقسم الضمير المتصل بحسب موقعه من الإعراب إلى 3 أقسام. When you are looking at إعراب, ضمير متصل is divided into 3. ما يختص بمحل الرفع. Those that are specifically designed for محل الرفع. وهو 5 ضمائر. They are 5 of them as pronouns. We have التاء الفاعل. Ta, the subjective ta. Fa'il means the subject. The subject ta. And then we have alif ithnain, alif of dual, waw al-jama'a, waw of plural, ya al-mukhataba, right? Ya for, basically it's a second person, feminine ya. Second person, feminine ya. You are addressing a female. So that ya is used. And then we have nun on niswa, nun for what? Feminine. Noon for feminine or feminine noon. Feminine noon. So these are the dama'ir. That which is for fa'il. And then we have alif ithnain. We have waw al-jama'ah. We have yaw al-mukhataba. And then we have noon al-niswa. Now let's look at the example of them in the Quran. The use of ta al-fa'il or in the grammar. Excuse me. Now, katabtu, I wrote. Katabta, you wrote. Katabti, she wrote. Katabtuma, katabtuma, you wrote. So here, this is alif ithnain. Katabtum, tu. Katabtun. So you can see that here, ta, tu, ta, tu. So you can see that ta'ul fa'il has all the four formats of the vowel structure. So ta'ul fa'il, we have three types. Ta'ul fa'il, we have tu, and then we have ti, and then we have ta. And these are all considered what? Ta'u al-fa'il. Tu, ti, ta. Right? Katabtu here. Katabta here. Katabti. Now, we don't consider the ma and the ma and the noon here. This noon is noon on niswa. Right? But you see the two right there. This meme is also meme al-mudhakkar. Right? It's like antum, antunna. So two. So you can see that the ta'ul fa'il maintain the structure of two when it moves to alif ithnain, then it moves to noon niswa, right? And then it moves to jama'ah. Very, very important. So all these are ta. Because sometimes people get confused with the ta'ul fa'il. They think ta'ul fa'il is always two. But it can be ta or ti. Because you're saying katabtu, I wrote. Katabta, you wrote, you. So the person wrote it. So he's still the subject. And then katabti, you. You're talking to a female, right? And she is still the subject. Katabtuma, you're talking to two people. They are still the subject. Two. Katabtum, you are talking to what? You, plural, right? You, plural, masculine. So the tum. Tunna, no, niswa. So two here is you. But what kind of you for niswa? So let's look at alif ithnain. Alif ithnain is dual alif. We use it to indicate two people, like you both, or both of you. So kataba means day, right? Kataba day, but the day here is two people. Kataba, they both. So that's what you're saying. Kataba, they both wrote. Kataba. So this alif is what we call alif ithnain. So the alif ithnain is fa'il. It's a damir muttasil. في محل الرفع, right? في محل الرفع. Why is it in the محل الرفع? Because they are always fa'il. And fa'il is marfu. But because this alif cannot manifest the vowel structure of fa'il, we say في محل الرفع. Now, يكتبان فعل المضارع. So you can see this is alif ithnain. And this noon is just known as ziyada, right? And then uktuba, command, right? Uktuba, you both write. Or you can say write, you both. right? You both. You're talking to two people. Let's look at Wawul Jama'a. Wawul Jama'a too is connected to the end. Katabu, they wrote. Katabu, they wrote. And they here is masculine plural. Now, yaktubuna, they are right. Yaktubuna, they are writing. Uktubu, command. So katabu, yaktubuna, uktubu, wawul jama'a. So we have here the wawul jama'a is indicated with alif in front of it. Yaktubuna, when it moves to fi'l al-mudari, the alif is dropped because noon is coming there. So we don't need this alif. And then uktubu again with the alif come back here and then to indicate that we are commanding a plural jama'a. Now let's look at ya'ul mukhataba, talking to a female addressee, right? Female addressee. You're addressing somebody. Taktubina. So anti taktubina. So if you are commanding a female, then you say uktubi. So ya Maryamu, a woman, uktubi. Uktubi darsa. Right? Please write the lessons. Uktubi. So mukhataba. Remember, don't confuse mukhatab. Mukhatab is a male, and then mukhataba is a female. So ya'ul mukhataba is used to indicate that we are talking to a female, either taktubina or uktubi. Does it make sense? And ya'ul mukhataba is not used in the past tense, right? It's not used in the past tense. Why? Because we already have katabti here. Katabti is representing the ya'ul mukhataba in the past tense. But when we come to the progressive or present continuous in command, then you use taktubina or uktubi in the command sense. Let's look at noun on niswa. Here you are katabna, you are talking about women, plural. So that's the opposite of wawul jama'a. So you say katabna, yaktubna, uktubna. So here you are commanding what? Females from three or more, three to more, or three or more. And then katabna, they wrote. That's female. Yaktubna, they are writing. It's like yaktubuna. The opposite of yaktubuna is yaktubna. Here you are addressing male, and then here you are addressing female. So these doma'ir are all in what? Fi mahall raf'i. Right? They are in the position of raf'i. And the raf'i, alamatul raf'i, cannot manifest itself on them. So we need to put them in mahall. And then we have ta'u fa'il. We have ta'u fa'il, which we're gonna talk about later. So هذه الضمائر, all these pronouns لا تخرج عن محل الرفع. They are not going to, they are not analyzed outside the context of محل الرفع. وهي إما أن تكون في محل رفع فاعل or نائب الفاعل or اسم كان أو إحدى أخواتها. So this is the situation. These ضمائر can be in محل الرفع فاعل or نائب الفاعل or it can be اسم كان. So let's look at أمثلة في القرآن. قال أسلمت لرب العالمين. قال أسلمت. أسلمت تاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل الرفع فاعل. So أسلم. So you can see that أسلم is a فعل الماضي. If you add the to it, then you see that the فعل الماضي becomes what? It becomes سكون at the end. أسلمت. So who is the فاعل? Is the ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل الرفع فاعل. قال تعالى وقد كنت بصيرا. كنت. Look at كنت. It's from the word كان يكون كن. So كنت I was. كنت I was. كنت the تاء on the two. كنت ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل الرفع اسم كان. Now look at the ayah very well. وقد كنت بصيرا. Right? Remember كان and his sisters, what do they do? يرفع المبتدأ, isn't it? وتسمى ماذا؟ ويسمى اسمها, right? ترفع المبتدأ وتسمى اسمها, and then with the خبر it becomes نصب, and then it is called خبرها. So you say كان الله غفورا. كان الله غفورا. So the اسم كان is always مرفوع. So when you say كنت, كن is from كان. So therefore this ta, what is its relation with the kun? So the ta is damir. And what kind of damir? Damir muttasil, conjunctive damir, because it's connecting to the kuntu. Now, mabni ala dam. This two is always two. Fi mahalli. It is in the situation, it is in the what? In the stead. Or it's in the stead of what? Ar-raf'i. That's a dam. Ismu kana. Because ismu kana is always marfu bi dam. Now look at it. Basiran. خبر كان, right? And خبر كان is always what? Mansub. And the eyes very, very clearly. But we're analyzing the two. It's ta al-fa'il, right? Ta al-fa'il. Just as we said, ta al-fa'il can come in so many forms. Tu, ta, ti. Or sometimes it can be two plus meme, and then two plus noon and niswa, and then two plus what? Meme plus alif. So like katabtuma. 2 plus meme like tum. 2 plus nunun niswa, tunna. And then tuma and tuma and tuma, tuma. So these are all towel file in its various forms. So وقد كنت بصيرة. كنت تاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل رفع اسمه كان. Remember اسمه كان is always what? مرفوع. And then the خبر is always what? Mansub. This is something you need to know all the time. Let's look at another ayah. فاستقم كما أمرت. فاستقم. Now, فاستقم كما أمرت. The تاء file is on the أمرت. أمرت. كما أمرت. ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح في محل الرفع نائب الفاعل. أمر. أمر is from أمر. This is مبني للمعلوم. And then we have أمر مبني للمجهول. So any فعل الماضي مبني للمجهول is going to call for نائب فاعل. So this تا كما أمرت is نائب الفاعل. قال تعالى استغفروا ربكم. look for واو الجماعة و. So ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع فاعل. Because واو الجماعة is فاعل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that استغفروا ربكم through the tongue of, or on the tongue of Noah. He's talking to the people of Noah through Noah. استغفروا ربكم, seek forgiveness from your Lord. استغفروا ربكم, seek forgiveness from your Lord. So you can see that this wow is ضمير متصل, واو الجماعة, that is conjunctive to the استغفر. So it's a ضمير. And what kind of ضمير? What is the marker? مبني على السكون في محل رفع فاعل. قال تعالى كونوا حجارة. Remember again, كان يكون كن. So here Allah is giving instruction to كونوا جماعة. كونوا حجارة أو حديدا. سورة الإسراء. Now how do you do it there? واو جماعة again. Remember اسم كان and خبر كان. So what is the word doing? Is it اسم كان or خبر كان? Let's look at the حجارة. حجارة. And most of the time خبر كان is منصوب. It's منصوب. It has فتحتين at the end. So therefore, where is the ism? The ism therefore must be the واو الجماعة. So كونوا واو ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع اسمه كونوا. Or if you want, you can say اسمه كان, because كونوا is from كان. قال تعالى لا تخرجون منها. لا يخرجون منها. Sorry. لا يخرجون. Remember يخرجون is فعل المضارع مبني للمجهول. Now, where is the نائب الفاعل? Then we place it on the واو الجماعة, which is in the what? جون. The wa in front of the ju, followed by the nun, is واو الجماعة. And واو الجماعة here is acting as what? نائب فاعل. So the إعراب is going to be ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع نائب الفاعل. Let's see where we can. قال تعالى كان يأكلان الطعام. كان يأكلان الطعام. Now, again, كان is here. Now, look at it. كان. So this is what? ألف اثنين. يأكلان. Another ألف اثنين. طعام. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Isa and his mama, Maryam. كان يأكلان الطعام. They ate food, or they used to eat food. كان. Remember كان again. كان performs what? Some rules in Arabic. It's always used in مبتدا wa khabar, or used with nouns. The noun that follows is the ism kana, and the one that follows is khabar kana. But let's look at it. Where can we find the khabar كان? ألف. This ألف is ألف اثنين. ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع اسمه كان. كان يأكلان. يأكلان ألف ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع فاعل. يأكلان, because this is أكلة, right? So أكلة, who does the أكلة? This ألف. So ألف اثنين, the ألف is the what? The fa'il that does the أكلة. يأكلان الطعام, because Allah is talking about Isa. كان and the mother. Isa and the mother. كان يأكلان الطعام. وقال تعالى يا نار. يا نار كوني. Now نار has feminine attributes in Arabic. So we say هذه النار. هذه النار. هذه النار التي. Sometimes because it's not مؤنث حقيقي, some people can say هذا نار because it's not real. It's مؤنث مجازي, right? It's مؤنث مجازي. It's not real feminine. But in Arabic, we give anything that has warmth as مؤنث. So كوني, again, remember كان. كوني ياء المخاطبة, isn't it? The ya here, كوني ياء المخاطبة. Now, ياء المخاطبة is a ضمير. And ضمير is a what? A form of ism. So therefore, the ياء المخاطبة is going to be اسم لكوني or اسم كان. ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل الرفع اسم كوني. قال تعالى أتعجبين, this ya again. أتعجبين من أمر الله. Ya. What kind of ya is that? Another ya al-mukhataba. The first ya al-mukhataba was a command. And then the second ya al-mukhataba here is a progressive. أتعجبين يا الضمير مبني على السكون في محل الرفع فاعل. أتعجبين من أمر الله. So that is how we so you can see that all these dama'ir that we are analyzing, they are connected to what? They are connected to either the noun or the ism kana that we are analyzing. Let's look at the final part. قال تعالى وأقمنا الصلاة. وأقمنا نون النسوة ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح في محل الرفع فاعل. وأقمنا, and establish salat. So who is Allah addressing? Addressing the wives of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he uses what? وأقمنا. He didn't say وأقيموا. So inshallah we're going to end here. Next time we meet, we're going to continue from ما هو مشترك بين محلي النصب والجر وهو 3 ضمائر. Until then, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.